The final team in the Central Division, which could end up being like incredibly fascinating or not fascinating at all, depending on how you look at it. Their key free agents, Serge Ibaka, Bobby Portis has a player option that I don't think he's declined as of yet, but they have early bird rights on him and he's expected to return. Jordan Mora, early bird restricted free agent. Wesley Matthews is a non-bird, and so is Javon Carter. Both of those guys, by the way, are players they should look at bringing back. They don't really have any notable non-guarantees. There's Luca Vildoza, $1.8 million is non-guaranteed to opening night. Ray John Tucker has $650K guaranteed, and then fully guarantees at 1.8 the last day of the moratorium. Notable extension candidates, Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez are both eligible for extensions. The one that's more interesting to me, Pat Connaughton shocked everybody because we've been going through this wing free agency market for quite some time now. Him opting into $5.7 million when he could have gotten almost double that just based off the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, maybe even more because the Bucks can offer him more. He's extension eligible. I would just predict that he's getting a 4-year extension that's worth it starts at 120% of the league's average annual salary. Last year's average annual salary in 2020, 2021 was $10 million. So that should be higher now, or at least around there. So he could get into the 4-year, $60 million range, guaranteeing him over the next 5 years and like, let's say $66 million. Maybe that's more than he could have gotten in. It's definitely more than he could have gotten in some on the open market. So I would expect that I just thought when I saw him opt in, I was surprised. No notable trade exceptions. And their best spending tool is the mini MLE. I have in parentheticals the question of, but will they use it?
How much does it suck that you have to ask that question? That's tough. I hate that.
Look, I mean, I guess it's to their credit, they finished inside the tax this past year, but they're like, as of right now, and yes, they don't have a ton of roster spots actually filled on guaranteed contracts. They are inside $7 million of the tax when you pencil in like the minimum contract holds. That's a number. We talked about this with the Nuggets where team governors are going to look at it and be like, well, like, could we get under that? And they have these contracts that I'm sure they don't necessarily want, where it's George Hill, $4 million. And then Grayson Allen feels like he was signed to be a trade piece later on when you look at his $9.4 million number, but they're planning on bringing back Bobby Portis, and that's just going to skyrocket your tax bill anyway from there. So my guess is I'm prepared for them not to use it because they're going to look at, oh, well, we're paying Portis and still in the tax anyway. This is without question. They absolutely should use it.
Yeah. I think they gotta, because like just looking at, I don't think you can go in, Middleton's absence kind of exposed a lot of things where if he's healthy for the full playoff run, maybe like we're just talking about the Bucks having repeated and it doesn't really matter that much that like Wes Matthews, just the second he put the ball on the floor, like the probability of a good outcome like went to 0. Like Grayson Allen, I kind of got bumped out of the rotation for defensive reasons. Like Connaughton just can't be your only reliable reserve rotation level.
I will say Wesley Matthews was probably too important to the Bucks last year.
That's what I mean.
He held up a lot better defensively than I thought. Someone who didn't begin the season on the roster. Shout out to the Lakers. I don't know why they why they didn't resign him, but please carry on. I apologize.
No, that's just it. He was too important. Like you can't. That's not what you want as a title contender. Again, maybe it doesn't matter because everybody moves down the pecking order if Middleton is healthy, and you're not having to consider like, wow, we really got Allen and Matthews out there together. Like this is not a solid title winning team. So the taxpayer mid-level, I don't know if it gets you the types of guys they need, like your Gary Harris, your Daniel House, you probably would get. Otto Porter, don't think so.
Otto Porter is have his name written inside a heart for the Bucks and other teams, but like Otto Porter is like the perfect free agent. If he's only costing the mini MLE, the Warriors better be resigning him. Yeah. But maybe I think they can probably promise him a bigger role in Milwaukee. I also think you've noted that Otto Porter's ideal role is not a bigger role. It's what the Warriors were able to do with him this past season.
Right. Yeah. I think there is major downside risk with him, and positionally, like Porter really is a 4. So I love the idea of like Giannis and Porter, as a center power forward combination. But if you are going to commit quite a bit to Bobby Portis, I think you can correct me. I think because they've got early bird, they can start a new deal at around $11 million a year. So I mean, like that's a decent commitment. He's played well for them. unless you're going to trade Brook Lopez, which maybe we can talk about, how likely that is, how effective that'll be in getting talent you need. It's kind of harder for me to. I love Porter almost everywhere. I think he would upgrade the team, but like he's a 4, and I don't know if that's gonna. That doesn't feel replacing, say, Wes Matthews with Otto Porter. I'm not sure changes a ton, just because I don't know how well Porter is going to hold up against wings defensively.
It doesn't. I think it improves your playoff lineup packages to when you probably need to downsize more with Giannis.
No doubt, no doubt. What do you think about? Do you have other targets? Or you want to talk about Lopez? Because if we're going to improve the roster via trade, like he's pretty much the guy.
Yeah, the targets I had would be Amir Coffey was on there. I had Daniel House as well. This would be a great TJ Warren team. I actually, now I'm thinking about it, maybe you mentioned him. So yeah, it's like the same type of guys. I wouldn't mind if you were looking for like we're talking about the idea of Otto Porter, just go for the minimum guy and want Toscano Anderson. Let's just continue pillaging Warriors free agents, and we'll go with Damian Lee, who I just feel like the way he moves off the ball and can shoot and is better defensively than a lot of other minimum, I would argue minimum, like he's going to be better defensively now than Kent Bazemore is my point. So that, like, I would look at that. But yeah, I don't think they would, this dovetails with this. I wanted to know if one, you thought they were going to offer extensions to either Middleton or Lopez. I think Lopez, the clear answer is no. Middleton is eligible for a 3-year, $152.5 million extension or 4 years and like $200 million. It doesn't have to be the full. Would you offer the 3-year one?
I might do like a Kyle Lowry level thing from a couple of years ago where you're going 3 years, but you're staying under 100 million total. I don't
or 3 years, 100 million flat. Like, yeah, I'm not offering Chris Middleton a 3-year max extension. I love Chris Middleton, but
yeah, no, and his game theoretically should age well because it's not really based on athleticism, and he's always going to be able to shoot. So
he does probably have plenty of leverage based off what happened after he got injured in the playoffs.
For sure, yeah. There's no doubt that he can go to them and say, "Look what happens when you don't have me." And certainly, I think at least with the big pieces, the Bucks have done well to just like we're gonna spend, but everyone's got a limit, and they are still a small market team, even, and they've got the ring already. So it's kind of like maybe there's less urgency. I don't know. I think Lopez, no chance for an extension. I would like it sucks for the continuity and the chemistry, and you might just get Giannis saying I will not allow it. But I think Lopez as a trade candidate like makes perfect sense. I think if Charlotte wants to improve its defense, because Steve Clifford is the coach there now, even just for Kelly Oubre, I think is not the craziest thing in the world. Probably Charlotte has to give up a little more, but something like that where you just get me a wing I know I can play, that can guard and do stuff off the ball, and I'll just play Giannis at center. I think I'm comfortable with that going forward. So I think that to me is like the clearest way for a team that doesn't have a lot of avenues to get better.
I had that exact trade mapped out. Also, the last target I had from Milwaukee, Thaddeus Young, I would expect that he'll get more from Toronto, but if he falls into the mini MLE territory, not the perfect one, and it falls to how many wings is he defending, but if you want to downsize, he's more valuable than Bobby Portis. And I don't even want to say downsize, but if you want to go the non-traditional center lineup route, I have a couple other, though, Brook Lopez destinations. DeAndre Ayton leaves Phoenix, and I don't know what the return is going to be on him, but if they don't get a big back, Brook Lopez for Jay Crowder.
Oh, same idea. I like that. Someone that's gonna. I mean, Crowder even at least
there need to be another
the shooting too.
Does there need to be another moving part in there? Let me double check. No, there actually does not, unless I'm way off on Brook Lopez's salary in my sheet. No, that would work.
Lopez.
Yeah, so that could work. The other one I had, I don't know what San Antonio is doing. Brook Lopez for Josh Richardson, just exchanging expiring contracts. And if you still have Jakob Poeltl there, like is Brook Lopez a backup 5? I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, you just got to go big for a wing, even a combo forward,
which is extremely hard to do. Right. Anything else for you on this team? While I do think the depth needs to come in the form of probably, I want to see them get another wing, but they could use like a backup guard who's the upgrade over George Hill. Maybe that's just Javon Carter. They just need depth though, to help them navigate any potential absences or minutes where they don't have their full stable of star power on the court.
Yeah, I don't have any other specific targets. I agree with what you said there.
This was great. Thank you, everyone who made it this far for listening. We did it in under an hour, so we're kind of on the pace that we're supposed to be. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Join our Discord, the links to which are in all of our descriptions. Follow us on the socials. Grant is Podcast Description Social Account Official. It took me longer to say that than to just tell you to follow at GT_Hughes. Until next time, we leave with a shout out to the one, the only, the free agent who actually wouldn't be a bad fit on any of these 5 teams in the Central Division, Frank Ntilikina.